Hey, and welcome to Lemon Drops, brought to you by the Smoky Lemon crew. Well, we're talking branding, marketing, and everything in between. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's drop in. Welcome to our next instalment of Lemon Drops, and today's podcast we have a very special guest with us. This is Chris Herlihy, and he's one of the committee members for Pride Taranaki. Kia ora, Chris.
Kia ora.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
So, first of all, Chris, let's talk a little bit about yourself and your background. And I mean, you're very well known locally.
Well, I'm a really lucky man. I'm a legend in my own mind.
Well, you're a legend in Taranaki, mate.
Well,
I get that.
I have a great life, and this is my home, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. During the course of my career, I had to live away for 15 years, but I've been home for ages and ages, and there's nowhere else I want to be.
That's so cool. And I think when you always come back to the Maunga at the end of the day. Yeah. So, what's your background then, Chris?
Oh, wow.
But should we share?
Oh, there's lots to share. My very first job was at the Bank of New Zealand in Waitara.
Wow.
I'm a Waitara boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I quickly got into working for hospitality, so I worked for Lion Breweries. For 13 years, I ended up managing Cobb & Co restaurants and hotels, so...
Cold crunchies?
Yeah.
Did you get it for free?
Oh, mate, I was just there for so long, but I managed 3 hotels, including the state establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, in New Plymouth, which was really cool. And then I went and joined Quality Hotels, so it was another professional level of hoteliers and a different kind of focus, really. Did that for about 13 years, and I ended up at the Quality Hotel Plymouth International.
Mm-hmm.
After that, it was kind of a complete change. I got a job working for Roger King at the Taranaki Arts Festival Trust.
Wow, that would have changed your life.
Yeah, it was the most of I'd been doing part-time work, doing sponsorships and stuff, and I just got involved and I became the business manager. And I'm kind of a bush accountant, really. I'm self-taught. But I'm good with numbers. Yeah. And I worked, and then we also were involved in the Garden Festival. That's when I first came on board. And that's one of my great loves, really, is gardens and the gardeners and stuff. And so I was involved in that, and the very first WOMAD. Mm-hmm. And then I went on to keep the business role, but I also became the event director for WOMAD. And it was a fabulous job. It was just so cool, and the way that WOMAD has changed the perception of Taranaki and New Plymouth has been transformational.
It really has, hasn't it? It's opened up people's eyes to a whole world.
Yeah. And you go along, it is incredibly middle class, really.
Yeah.
But people used to think it was a happy organisation or whatever, and I always said, you're most likely to find your doctor and your accountant and your dentist there wearing a Hawaiian shirt, basically.
It's funny, at WOMAD just gone, so we've just said WOMAD. I see them dancing, and I think, because they're looking, they're grooving, they're having a great time, and they are in their Hawaiian shirts. And I often think, well, you'll have your suit back on Monday. Or maybe they took Monday off.
But some of the greatest things that have happened in WOMAD in Aotearoa, New Zealand, we would start with a porphyry or marae, and for a lot of artists who are famous in their own countries, and they're all indigenous artists, they've never actually had a welcome by the tangata whenua, and so for them it's incredibly touching and moving. And when I used to go out there, it was the most spiritual thing.
Yes.
It's like,
especially with Waitara being your home as well.
Yeah. So the star this year was the Cuban cellist.
Oh.
She apparently danced the entire length of the whare.
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
Well, she was incredible on stage. Yeah. All right, but something else, Chris, as well, of course, is you are a strong advocate and member of the rainbow community.
Yep.
And so Pride Taranaki. So when was Pride Taranaki created?
Probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I attended a meeting, and at the time I wasn't in a position to be involved. I've been involved now for 4 years. It seems to have flown by, and we're a very small committee, and it's evolved, and And so the people have come and gone, but everyone's made a really cool contribution. And I guess Glenn Bennett kind of stirred me to join.
Sure, yeah. Late MP.
Yes. And so that started, and we just have a small vision, I guess, really.
What is the vision?
My view of the vision is that we are about building community.
Mm-hmm.
We're a small provincial town, and it's a thin veneer of civilization here, really. And I only say that one of the things that protects us really is the Gavette Brewster Art Gallery. But it's about building a community, so we do small, regular events. We give everyone the opportunity to meet and to talk and to build friendships, and that's how communities happen.
Sure.
So we don't focus on major events or large events. There's nothing wrong with them. They all have their place. But for us, it's about a small community and about being visible and being a voice.
And creating support for people in the community.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of finance or anything like that, but what we do doesn't cost anything.
Right.
And so it's about bringing people together. I mean, we have an amazing website.
Built by Smoky Lemon.
Thanks to Smoky Lemon. And it's like, the website's actually a really cool resource. So if people want to hop on there, www.pridetaranaki.co.nz.
Check it out.
Yeah. There is some really good resources, and being visible and having a voice actually talks also about not what we're doing now, but about our history. And there's a huge rainbow history in Taranaki.
Yes, because the first support group as such was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And which is, I find, quite surprising that back then, it's been going for that long.
Yeah, and I guess Taranaki always does things differently. We're an outpost, we're not on the way to anywhere, we're our own destination. And there's always been support, and it obviously used to have to be pretty much underground before the homosexual law fall well, because that was an illegal activity. Anyhow, we don't need to go back there, but some very important people have originated from Taranaki, and some really major events happened. The very first HIV death in New Zealand occurred in New Plymouth on the 1st of April in 1984.
Wow.
And I think that there was so much fear, and we think COVID was fearful. Man, this was like the gay cancer. It was like a completely different thing. Airlines in Australia at the time, like TAA and Ansett, refused to fly people with HIV.
Wow.
So I've got a bit of an old archive at home that I've been lucky enough to be gifted, and there's some amazing stories, but it's like a social commentary on what life is like. And so there's actually an AIDS memorial in the Boatshed Lawn.
That's right.
In Puwhipuhi Park. And we've actually, part of being visible and stuff is we've actually submitted to the long-term plan of the council about having a more a name which will better reflect that place. And so the council have agreed, and we're in the process now of consultation.
Great.
And we'll come up with a name that will actually record the significance of that place. And we can never forget people that went before.
Of course not, no. And that fought, and it just wanted to count and matter like they should have. Yeah. So with Pride Taranaki, last year you did your first Pride Week, so a week of activities.
Yeah.
And you've just launched for Pride Week this year. So when is that, Chris?
So that's from the 7th to the 13th of April.
Okay. And what is that all about?
Well, I guess it's just a bit more than what we did last year. It was last year just was an opportunity, and I don't think we'd ever really thought about it, but there was so much energy in the community and from other organisations that we just pulled together a program. We had 17 events. We had like 1,000 people attend, and then we had other kind of activations. So there was like another 1,000 people, involved, and so it was incredibly successful. And what it did was bring the community together.
Yeah, because of course Pride Week isn't just for those in the rainbow community, it's for everybody.
No,
It's,
it is for everybody.
yes, exactly. Yeah, like allies, it's for everyone.
Allies and family and supporters, and it's like there's nothing like a good ally.
Yeah,
because it's just part of life. It's not the consuming aspect of
no, and it
life.
shouldn't be. That shouldn't be what defines them.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's evolved for this year?
Yeah, it has evolved. I feel a little bit like an artistic director, really. It's kind of like the things that we did last year that worked really, really well, we are repeating. So we did a quiz night at the Good Home, which is like the biggest quiz night I ever do, and it's the funniest thing ever.
I bet it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And so there's a community breakfast at the Taranaki Cathedral, who are an incredibly progressive organisation.
Aren't they?
Yeah, and it's just really heartening, and so we do that. We did a bowling night, because we've got some avid bowlers around the community.
And the shoes are great.
Yeah, Imelda. Yeah, so there are a number of things like that. Last year we had a discussion with a prominent artist, and so we're doing the same thing this year. So there's an artist called Tertius who did the huge mural in Blagden.
Okay, yeah.
In 1981 or 2.
On the wall there.
Yeah, so it's just been repainted by Malaki and John Shuri.
Yes.
And so Tertius is coming to speak, and he is going to be interviewed by Abby Jury, who's a very succinct and clever woman.
Yeah.
She actually managed the PEP program for the Cadet Brewster. She was the first education officer back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like a time and a place, but also this is quite a special project because we've got the interview, we've got the mural, and we're also doing an exhibition at Substrat Gallery.
Brilliant.
Which will feature 4 of Tertius's works from the 70s, and they're a pretty loud social commentary. They're cool.
Cool.
And really large, and there's going to be an opening and everything.
Brilliant.
Check the website for details.
Yeah. So all the events are on the website for.
Yes, they are, and very shortly they will be on Facebook.
We're going to put this on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So have you had more
I had other things to say.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, please continue.
Yeah. So one of the big movements this year is working with the Gavette Brewster Art Gallery in the Lenlai Centre and programming rainbow movies.
Oh, wow.
So really, really cool movies. There is one international movie, but that's because it's got Daniel Craig in it.
Hello.
But all the rest are Kiwi movies, and there's one called West of Eden, which is a really cool story set in the South Island. We have Kawa, which was based on the Wita Imara novel, Nights in the Gardens of Spain, and that was directed by Katie Wolf.
Oh yeah, local girl.
Yes, and so she'll be here to do a Q&A after that. We have a movie called Crossing Rachmaninoff, which is a story about an Italian concert pianist called Flavio Villani.
Wow.
Who lives in Auckland, and it's the story of part of his life preparing for an international concert tour, returning to his Catholic family in Italy and stuff, and he'll be here for a Q&A.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then we have a couple of other movies as well. One is called Inky Pinky Ponky, and it's a trans story.
Okay.
And it's very new, only was released last year, and it's a youth story based around a high school in Auckland. And we have a really beautiful movie called Rurangi, which has a trans lead actor. Very New Zealand story. It started as a series of 5 episodes, has been condensed into a movie length presentation, and has been overseas and won international awards.
Wow.
It's just incredibly beautiful.
What's that one called again?
Rurangi.
Okay, all right.
And so those 2 movies are happening on Saturday and Sunday during the day, so it's a really safe and appropriate time for youth to be out.
Yeah.
And so we're doing some work also with Rainbow Youth, who are doing a clothes swap. We've got a kororo at the Pukeariki Museum afterwards. And there's some nice stuff going on.
And that's nice to have the next generation below sort of carrying that mantle too.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, in our society, we always have to look out for people who just, have to have the opportunity to thrive.
Yeah.
And so for youth, it's a time when, we can do something and be an example and show that, it's safe to live in this community.
That's right. Help them thrive and not feel like they have to hide, right? Yeah. Which is so important because everyone just wants to be human. They just wants to be loved. Yeah. So, since last year, have you had like more businesses or organisations stepping up to support the event?
Yeah, we have, and we've worked with a number of organisations during the year, and it's kind of like we have amazing support from the New Plymouth District Council.
Brilliant.
And then there's a whole lot of things that flow from that. So Pukeariki and the Gavette Brewster are very supportive and creative, and this year, I mean, we've always had Nice Hotel, have always been around, and so this year, Jungle Nurseries are supporting us with some great prizes and stuff. But I have to say, Centre City have actually kind of moved the bar in terms of creating a dialogue, and they're working really hard to do some amazing installations and that's support in lots of ways. So support for their own, storekeepers, staff, but also for the community and creating a safe space.
And they have really gone about that, haven't they? And and there's the signs that Pride Taranaki recently put around.
So, we did Te Matatini and we did WOMAD.
Saying this is a safe space.
Yeah, because it's important that people know that this is a decent community.
And for someone that reads that, how does that make them feel?
I think it validates people, it's like, I don't have to worry.
Yeah, I can be who I am.
Yeah, and that's what we're about.
That's the core.
Yeah.
Unashamedly, Yeah. Well, Chris, it's been great learning a little bit more about Pride Taranaki. I mean, personally, I do know about it because it's something I'm hugely at support for. But for others to learn about it and to get along to Pride Week and hit up the website, Pride Taranaki.co.nz. But before we get into just a bit of lightheartedness, what do you have like a message or like a man that's been in the rainbow community for a long time? What do you say? Like, what's your takeaway?
I can only talk about me personally, and it's like, there are two things. It's never too late. And
to be yourself.
Never, for anything.
Right, true. Yeah.
It's never too late, and never give up hope.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And there's a lot of hope here in our region, and with people like you and the committee behind you. You're doing great things.
Well, I do what I do because I enjoy it.
Yes.
And I've for years I've done volunteer work and been involved in lots and lots of organisations, and it's just, actually I can give back to the community, and I meet the most amazing people by doing volunteer work. Yeah. And it's not work,
that's it, and that's filling your cup up, that's stuff a pay packet can't sometimes fulfill, Yeah. Do you have the younger generation sort of like aspire a little bit? Like, do they kind of see you as a bit of a hero?
No, I think they just look at me and think I'm incredibly old.
Now they look at you and go, oh, he's got a ponytail.
Wow.
It's a great pony.
This is day 3. Yeah.
All right, so before we wrap up, Chris, if this is a really good one, and then we got talking about this in the office yesterday. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
I don't think it's necessarily about me.
Okay.
But I have a song that I have just loved for like 50 years.
Yes.
And it's You're So Vain by Carly Simon.
Which is why you prefaced it by saying...
It's not about me. Yeah.
It is a great song.
Yeah. And I just find her inspiring. And
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's an interesting answer.
Yeah.
I feel like mine would be Whitesnake, Here I Go Again.
Oh, there are so many songs.
There is a lot, yeah. If you could swap lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why? Like, I feel like you're pretty happy in your own skin and you wouldn't really want to swap, but if you got the option.
Yeah, my answer is going to be that I don't want to swap. I'm the luckiest man I know.
Wow. How cool is that, Chris?
Yeah, it's just, I'm so lucky.
That is awesome.
And amazing things happen. I mean, sometimes shit things happen in my life.
They do.
But I'm just incredibly lucky, and I'm incredibly grateful, and it's like being in the moment, and yeah, I had the most amazing opportunities.
When those shit things happen, how do you get through it?
With wine. I don't really know, because every situation is different, but I always try and be a good person, try and act with dignity, and act in a way that I'll be proud of myself. And I look back,
And they are great lessons. They are lessons that everybody could implement. Yeah, for sure. Okay, and finally, if Pride Taranaki had an office mascot, who or what would that be?
I don't know. I think there are two people that are incredibly important from Taranaki.
Yes.
So one who's not with us anymore and one who is.
Okay.
So I kind of have to go with like two answers on that one.
Okay. What are your two?
So I think a lot of people don't necessarily know all of the story and the waka-hapa, but I think one of the most inspirational people I've ever met was Georgina Bayer.
Oh, I read a book. She's amazing.
Yeah. Just incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the people that I work with at the moment, who is just like an incredibly articulate person and a huge history and knowledge, and has been fighting in our community for years, and that's Fiona Clark.
Absolutely. Yeah.
World famous.
Yes.
Apart from in Tikarangi.
Ironically.
It's the tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but both inspiring women.
Yeah. Well, Chris, it's been really interesting getting to know you a little bit more about Pride Taranaki.
Yep.
So we really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're going to dig into the treats Chris bought.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening, and we look forward to bringing you our next installment of Lemon Drops next week.